So hi everybody, Deanna King here, and today what I want to do is I want to meet people where they are, especially those who are not ready or able to leave the relationship, because often the advice is just leave, but that skips over the very real reality that a lot of people are stuck and they stay sometimes for years and still need tools to survive emotionally, right? You might not be ready to leave, and that's okay, but you still deserve to have peace of mind somehow, even while you're in the relationships. So what you can do if you aren't ready to leave the narcissist, but still keep your sanity, is a few little things. One of them is learn to breathe. You want to keep your cortisol levels down. That's step one. They want to pull you in. And you know by now that they use every trick in the book to drain you of your energy. You know how that saying goes, right? Misery loves company and chaos seeks more chaos. We end up affected by all of this because we take it personally. We feel unloved. They're pushing our buttons here, our traumas. We feel rejected. We feel stupid sometimes because they love to make us feel stupid. So we feel self-hatred. We feel resentment. We feel anger and hurt. And that places us in victimhood, where their behavior, it dictates how you're to feel at any given time. Talk about control, right? And then we end up being accused of being crazy when we react to their behavior towards us. You buy into the emotions because your pain in life has been about feeling unloved, rejected, and unworthy long before the narcissist came around. Not that any of those beliefs are true here, they're just beliefs. But because the pain hasn't been dealt with, you still get triggered when they push those buttons. As for them, they're projecting the pain that they haven't dealt with, and they want to pull you in with them. So both parties are in pain, but the difference is that you aren't wanting to pull them in, and they like to be in their mud. You don't. And in my videos, I'm always going on about giving yourself the space and journaling and grieving. And yes, that is necessary if you want to heal. But today I'm talking about your day-to-day encounters with them and how to handle it without being further traumatized. What you want to do is you want to learn to control your emotions, because they're going to try. What am I saying? Try. They're going to continue to do things to hurt you. That's not going to change. They don't change. They don't want to. So what's going to change is you will stop being hurt by them. We want to get you to a place where sticks and stones may break your bones, but names will never hurt you. So now you can go enjoy a sunset. So what you want to do is you want to learn and practice emotional discipline. Emotional discipline is the practice of observing your inner world with clarity and choosing responses that align with your values, not your impulses. Emotional discipline is mastering your emotions so that they guide you instead of rule you. And then we'll get to radical acceptance, which will be needed, because trying to regulate emotions when your unhealed wounds are being triggered is way easier said than done here, right? When the narcissist comes around looking for supply in the form of insults or disappointments, stop. Just become aware of what you're feeling first in your body. Ignore them, what they're saying, and just go to your body. What are you feeling? Not in your emotions, not just yet. Pause and notice if your blood pressure just went down or up. Notice any pit of the stomach feeling. Notice the stress coursing through your body. Notice, pay attention. That's giving yourself the space there. And that's the cortisol right there. And right there is where you want to put a stop to it. We've been trying to put a stop to it in all kinds of ways around these people, like arguing back, which leads to punishment, or trying to get them to understand, which only leads to circular conversations. Who wants to have another circular conversation? We try reasoning or pleasing, and the only thing that happens is we end up more upset and more discouraged and re-traumatized. We've been trying to control the situation by trying to control their behavior, and that never works. As soon as you become aware of what's going on in your body, you're already taking back control of the situation. You're telling self that you matter, because the narcissist starts destroying you the moment that they're able to raise your cortisol levels, and that's what they want. Because if your stress levels are through the roof, you won't be able to think straight. And the reason that you won't be able to think straight is because you haven't been allotted the time to process how you feel. And the reason that you haven't been able to process how you feel is because they are making damn sure that you don't. Because if you did, you would leave, and they know that. So they keep you busy being upset, emotional, and confused. It's not just about getting supply. They know what they are doing. Now, next, breathe and stay in control. And as you breathe like that, you want to use radical acceptance. And it'll take some time to reprogram your mind. It'll take practice, but be willing. Radical acceptance helps you protect your energy while you figure out what's next. Radical acceptance is a concept that comes from dialectical behavior therapy, DBT, but it's also deeply rooted in mindfulness and spiritual traditions. At its core, it means fully accepting reality as it is without judgment, resistance, or denial. That doesn't mean that you like what's happening here or that you approve of it or that you're giving up. Instead, it's about dropping the fight against what is so that you can stop suffering on top of the pain. Think of it this way. Pain is what happens to us, like loss, injustice, heartbreak, illness. Suffering is what happens when we keep saying this shouldn't be happening or I can't stand this. See the difference here? Radical acceptance is the willingness to say, this is reality right now. I may not like it. I may wish for it to be different, but it is what it is. For example, imagine that you're stuck in traffic. Without acceptance, you might stew in frustration. This is wasting my time. This shouldn't be happening. With radical acceptance, you acknowledge, I am in traffic. It's not in my control. Getting upset is not going to make it move faster. I can choose how I want to spend this time. It's powerful in healing too, especially in situations of loss, trauma, or things that you can't undo. Radical acceptance helps you stop being at war with reality so that you can move toward peace. Radical acceptance inside the relationship. See the narcissist clearly. Instead of taking every insult, withdrawal, or manipulation personally, radical acceptance means recognizing that this is how they operate. This is their pattern. It's not a reflection of your worth. It's shifting from why are they treating me like this to this is who they are showing me that they are. So stop fighting for what they can't give. It's what they are. We stay stuck in trying to extract empathy, fairness, or accountability from the narcissist, but it isn't happening. And that's what you have to accept. Radical acceptance says they are unlikely to validate me or meet me where I need. That is part of who they are. I can stop draining myself trying to pull water from an empty well. You want to separate reality from the story. Without acceptance, everything feels personal. They yelled because I failed. With acceptance, you step back. They yelled because they are dysregulated, controlling, or projecting. Their behavior reflects them, not me. And these are things that you don't just say once. Practice it over and over again until the new program is instilled in you. Lower suffering without lowering boundaries. Accepting that the narcissist is unlikely to change, it doesn't mean rolling over here. It means choosing your battles wisely, conserving emotional energy, and setting boundaries without expecting understanding or approval. That's where we go wrong. We expect them to start to understand. One thing that can really help is the serenity prayer. It really can. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I mean, pick these sentences apart and see how it encompasses everything. I've used it many, many times in many areas of my life, and I found it to be really, really helpful. So here are some examples of our inner responses without radical acceptance. Why won't they listen? If I explain it one more time, maybe they'll finally get it. Maybe I'll write a carefully crafted letter. Has anyone done this? Type yes in the comments below. Let's see how many of us are in that boat. Or I must be failing, otherwise they wouldn't treat me this way. But with radical acceptance, they don't want to listen. That's who they are showing me that they are. Their anger is about their need for control, not about my worth. I can't stop them from being who they are, but I can stop taking their behavior as proof that I'm not enough. And repeat these to yourself several times. Build yourself up. What this gives someone who stays? Clarity. Less confusion, less blame. Calmness, less emotional whiplash because they stop expecting normal empathy. Choice, more ability to decide when to engage, when to step back, and when to detach emotionally, and strength. They can survive the relationship with less inner damage while they figure out their long-term path. So in short, radical acceptance inside the relationship is about saying, this is who they are, this is how they behave, and I will no longer take it as a reflection of my worth. So you could do little things like before your day starts, pause and remind yourself. Do this in the morning. I can't control others, but I can control how I relate to myself. My worth is not up for debate. And take one deep breath in, exhale with the thought, today I choose peace over struggle. And these seem like simple things, but repeated over time, it reprograms the mind. The second one is a reality reminder throughout the day. When you feel tension building, quietly repeat to yourself, this is who they are, this is how they act. Keep repeating that. It's not about me, it's their pattern. Think of it like slipping on an emotional raincoat. The storm may still happen, but it doesn't soak through to your core. Number 3, evening reflection. Journal or have a quiet moment. Journaling is such a self-healing act. Ask yourself, what did I notice today that wasn't about me, but about them? Where did I accept reality instead of fighting it? How did that protect my peace? Even one small example, it reinforces the new habit. The fourth one is self-compassion. End the day by placing your hand on your heart and saying, I accept what I cannot change. I release what is not mine to carry. I choose to return to myself. Once you accept reality, your energy shifts. Instead of being stuck in resistance, you can actually respond with clarity, wisdom, and choice. A few key points about radical acceptance here. It doesn't mean approval. For example, if someone hurt you, accepting it doesn't mean saying it was okay. It just means that you're not denying that it happened. It doesn't mean resignation either. You can still take steps to change the future. But acceptance is about acknowledging the present and the past. It's about releasing the inner struggle so that you can free yourself emotionally. So start by bringing awareness to your body. Emotions, they're not just mental experiences. This is important here. They're deeply embodied. Every emotion has physical correlates in the body. For example, fear, tight chest, rapid heartbeat, stomach, butterflies, muscle tension, anger, heat rising, clenched jaw, tense shoulders, flushed face. Sadness is heaviness in the chest, tear production, low energy. Joy is lightness, warmth, relaxed muscles, and impulse to move or smile, right? The body and mind are inseparable in emotional experiences. Neuroscience and psychology show that the body registers and stores emotions sometimes even before the conscious mind is even aware. This is why practices like mindful breathing, body scanning, or gentle movement can help regulate emotions. You want to learn to regulate your emotions because you're working directly with where emotions reside. In trauma or chronic stress, the body often holds unprocessed emotions, which is why someone can feel tense, fatigued, or off without realizing the underlying source, even when things are seemingly okay with the narcissist. Emotions are embodied signals. Your body reacts first, your heart races, your stomach tightens, your muscle tenses, like I just said. These reactions are information, not commands. They signal that something matters, that your boundaries are being tested, or that fear or anger has arisen. When you accept what's happening internally, you're saying, I notice this tension, this fear, this tightness. It's real. I don't have to fight it, and it doesn't define me. This doesn't mean that you like the feeling, but by acknowledging it without judgment, you reduce the layer of suffering that comes from resistance. Example, during an argument, your chest might feel tight, right? Radical acceptance is noticing the tightness and saying internally, I feel this tension. It's my body responding. I can observe it without reacting impulsively. You're training yourself when you're doing these things. Emotional discipline in the body. Emotional discipline is using awareness to regulate your responses, starting with the body. Techniques include, like I mentioned, deep breathing, relaxing muscles, shifting posture, or grounding through your senses. And an example of that would be your heart races with anxiety during a manipulative comment. Emotional discipline could be taking a slow breath, relaxing your shoulders, and mentally reminding yourself, this is their behavior, not a reflection of me. You're going to be saying that over and over again. Radical acceptance helps you observe emotions in the body without judgment. Emotional discipline lets you choose how to respond to those bodily signals instead of being swept away. So together they create resilient presence. You feel the full spectrum of your emotions without being controlled by them. In other words, your body tells you the truth about your emotional state. Radical acceptance validates it, and emotional discipline guides your actions. When all three work together, even staying in a difficult relationship becomes more manageable because you're not constantly being hijacked by unprocessed emotional reactions. Step 1, notice the body. Pause and bring attention to your physical sensations. I feel my chest tight, my jaw clenching, my stomach fluttering. Simply observe. Don't try to change it yet. Step 2, name the emotion. I just did a video on this and I highly recommend that you watch it. I'll have it up for you at the end of the video. So I'll show you how to talk about emotional literacy, actually. Game changer. But for now, this is just a simple thing that you can do. Label what's happening in words. This is fear. This is anger. This is frustration. Naming the feeling creates a small space between you and the emotion. Step 3, acknowledge the sensation without judgment. The tension is real. It's my body responding. It's okay to feel this. And optional, silently add, I accept what is even if I don't like it. Step 4, emotional discipline response. Choose one grounding action to regulate the body. Slow, deep breath in through the nose. The breath is everything. The breath will still the mind. So you breathe, and you breathe out through the mouth. You're regulating your cortisol levels right there, and that's taking back control. Consciously relax shoulders and unclench your jaw. Plant your feet and notice the sensation of stability. Mentally remind yourself again. Remember, repetition, aka reprogramming. This is their behavior, not a reflection of me. I can respond with clarity. And lastly, step 5, decide your next action. Ask, what preserves my peace right now? Respond calmly, disengage, or set a boundary. The body is calmer, so your choice is less reactive, more intentional here. Why this works? Morning practice sets intention. Reality reminders help in the moment. Reflection trains the brain to see the separation between you and them. Self-compassion heals the wound of constantly being invalidated, and this daily rhythm builds an inner buffer. Even if someone isn't ready or able to leave, they start to experience more clarity, less self-blame, and a stronger sense of me versus their dysfunction. When it rains, we can't stop the rain, but we can carry an umbrella so that we don't get soaked. Radical acceptance is like carrying an umbrella inside the relationship. The storm may still happen, but it doesn't have to drench you. The body is your early warning system. Radical acceptance validates it. Emotional discipline lets you respond instead of reacting. So that is all for today. Take care of yourselves. Remember, you matter. And we shall see you in the next video. Bye for now.